Imagine two friends. Both graduate from the same university. Both are intelligent. Both get high-paying jobs. 20 years later, one is financially free. The other is still worried about bills. How can two equally smart people end up living completely different financial lives? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Being smart doesn't guarantee you'll become wealthy. In fact, some of the smartest people in the world struggle with money their entire lives. Professors, engineers, doctors, scientists, people with incredible IQs, yet ordinary bank accounts. Meanwhile, others with average grades, no prestigious degrees, sometimes build fortunes. Why? Because intelligence and financial intelligence are not the same thing. One helps you solve problems. The other helps you avoid creating financial ones. Today, we're going to uncover why so many intelligent people stay broke, and why becoming smarter isn't always the answer. Sometimes, you simply need to think differently about money. Let's begin with someone we'll call Alex. The story of Alex. Alex was always the smartest kid in class. Straight A's, scholarships, a respected career. Everyone expected him to become wealthy, and on paper, he looked successful. A six-figure salary, a nice apartment, a luxury car, the latest phone, designer clothes. Every year, his income increased, but so did his expenses. Every raise became an excuse for a better lifestyle. Years passed. Despite earning more than ever, his savings barely grew. If he stopped working for 6 months, everything would begin to fall apart. Alex wasn't poor, but he wasn't free either. And that's where many intelligent people unknowingly get trapped. They confuse income with wealth. Most people believe a high income automatically creates wealth. It doesn't. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. Imagine two buckets. One bucket has water constantly flowing in. The other has holes in the bottom. No matter how much water you pour, it never stays full. Money works the same way. Some people earn a lot, but spend just as much. Others earn less, yet steadily build assets. The difference isn't intelligence. It's behavior. School taught them to work, not to own. Think about your entire education. You were taught mathematics, science, history, languages, how to pass exams, how to get a good job. But how many classes taught you how money actually works, how to read financial statements, how investing creates wealth, how businesses grow, or how assets generate income? Very few. Success in school often teaches one important habit. Follow instructions, complete assignments, get rewarded. That system creates excellent employees. But wealth often comes from ownership, not obedience. The trap of always being right. Here's something fascinating. Highly intelligent people often hate being wrong. That sounds like a strength. But in investing, it can become a weakness. Imagine someone who studies every investment for years. They read every article, every report, every prediction. They're waiting for the perfect decision. Meanwhile, someone else starts with small investments, makes mistakes, learns, improves, keeps going. 10 years later, the second person has experience. The first person has information. Knowledge without action rarely changes your life. They trade time for money. Let's return to Alex. Every dollar he earned required more hours, more meetings, more stress, more responsibility. If he worked, money arrived. If he stopped, so did the income. This is called active income. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's a limit. There are only 24 hours in a day. No matter how talented you are, you cannot endlessly sell your time. Eventually, you reach a ceiling. The wealthy ask a different question. Instead of asking, how can I earn more? They ask, how can money continue working when I'm not? That's where investing, businesses, and assets begin changing the equation. The danger of lifestyle inflation. Imagine getting a promotion. Your salary increases by 20%. You celebrate. A bigger apartment, a newer car, expensive vacations. Everything feels deserved. Then something strange happens. A year later, you feel just as financially stressed as before. Why? Because your lifestyle grew faster than your wealth. This is called lifestyle inflation. The more you earn, the more you believe you should spend. Many intelligent people don't become trapped by low income. They become trapped by expensive habits. Smart people often overthink money. Have you ever noticed? Some people analyze everything. They compare every investment, read endless books, watch hundreds of videos, search for the perfect strategy. Months become years. Nothing happens. Meanwhile, small consistent actions quietly outperform perfect plans that never begin. Financial success rarely belongs to the person with the highest IQ. It often belongs to the person who consistently makes reasonable decisions. Action compounds. Waiting doesn't. They buy status, not freedom. Imagine two people receive a $20,000 bonus. The first buys a luxury watch. The second buys shares in productive companies. 5 years later, one owns an expensive accessory. The other owns assets that may have grown and potentially generated returns. The watch impresses strangers. The investment builds options. One purchases attention. The other purchases freedom. The wealthy often delay visible success to create invisible wealth first. The power of small decisions. People often believe wealth comes from one brilliant idea, one lucky investment, one massive opportunity. Reality is usually much less exciting. Wealth is often built through ordinary decisions, repeated for years, saving consistently, investing regularly, avoiding unnecessary debt, increasing skills, living below your means. None of these make headlines, but together, they quietly transform financial lives. The biggest myth about intelligence. Society tells us, if you're smart enough, everything else will follow. But money doesn't reward intelligence alone. It rewards behavior. A genius who spends everything can remain broke. Someone with average intelligence, who invests consistently, controls spending, and owns productive assets, may quietly become wealthy. Financial success isn't an IQ competition. It's a habits competition. What actually makes people wealthy? Look closely at many financially successful people. You'll notice something. They don't simply earn money. They own things, businesses, stocks, real estate, intellectual property, assets that continue creating value. Eventually, their income becomes less dependent on their daily effort. Their money begins producing more money. That's a completely different game. The real lesson. Alex eventually realized something. He had spent years becoming valuable to employers, but very little time learning how to make money valuable to him. So he changed. He continued working, but he also started investing. He learned about ownership. He stopped upgrading every part of his lifestyle. He focused less on looking successful and more on becoming financially secure. The transformation wasn't instant, but year after year, small decisions created a completely different future. Final message. Being intelligent is a gift, but it's not a financial strategy. Degrees can increase your income. Skills can increase your opportunities. Knowledge can improve your decisions. But none of those automatically create wealth. Wealth is built through consistent behavior, through patience, through ownership, through allowing time to work in your favor. The goal isn't to become the smartest person in the room. The goal is to make choices that your future self will thank you for. Because at the end of the day, money doesn't ask how high your IQ is. It asks one simple question. Did you spend your life working only for money, or did you eventually make money start working for you?